Obedo gima kony mi upe. Chido no chido peko na do dia wa pien kan mo mi de doki yope. Mi ode ko ni ruba tangu chi ya bot gamente. Ene do wan kame do gino bina ni wada ramo gre kok bot gi. Kame gino bide joko ta ni ko. O supporting to group one ro dong ro e no to gimo kiye.
Ana sama ni pingo one be no eneni. One always gire tero kok one ngo chida nyim. Bote dong na lawa. Ento be ngeo ka gin no beda bede wi kok wanan. Pien me aja dong bino no kok wa baduo.
Wan ro no mio gamente baro mo mio wa pa kamo kony moko. Pien group adong ni. No chao kene ubedo gini chiono juko chilengi te chao. Chido me wani awane no ngana no pe kamo ngolere poko ki du te chao do dong na. Jon charobo no ngemita chiling. Jona bino me konyo gini penya chiling ni. Ite chawa chila chil mito kwan gini chiling kere 50,000 me yaba ka unu nyungo. Eto no do kibotwa gimo eke no pe. Anungo mite team. Endo gino mi eche group wani do dicha ene no.
Some of the elders also hold the same view that development programs tend to ignore the youth, who would be the most productive segment of the population.
They are not vulnerable. They are active. They can do work themselves. But if there is somebody to help them, they will do better than others.
Yet cultural norms and lack of empowerment relegate the youth to the fringes of society, with little bargaining power to demand for their economic and political rights. Though the Karamojong are united by their love for the cow, the struggle for limited resources for livestock in an environment where global warming is quickly eroding their way of life. Yet the region harbors many other resources that could be utilized to the benefit of the Karamojong. The rural youth are at crossroads. Without the skills, capital, and social empowerment, the danger is they may become a lost generation.
We as Karamojja Parliamentary Group, with our district leadership, we're trying to lobby government. We want to ensure that some policies are put in place, a policy on pastoralism, because we believe these are people, the land is communally owned customary at times. But you know, today Uganda is advancing. There are investors who are trying to come into Karamojja, but we believe if we can have a good pastoral policy, and then range management, we see how our land can be utilized. Actually, we've been trying to ask government that to engage the youth we have now, if they can put them in sort of piloting some cattle keeping, like to crossbreed, ranching like they have done in Western.
We have a project approach. Project, 1 year project for support on the youth into livelihood. And we go and train the youth into what I call talk and choke workshops. And they say, we drive a big Prado around, and they say, too much money in Karamojja. Where is it? We need to know where it is. It's little, because the money will control the resources. And I want also to say, when they say too much money, possibly they are talking about money that we don't control. And who controls that money? That entirely remains with others.
Yeah, we're trying to work on to ensure that activities of the youth first are assimilated within the district development plan. That is number one. If only the district will accept our activities and say, this is that we have brought you this is what we expect to do in 2 years' time. Let them take our projects and assimilate within the district development plan, even though they are unfunded. Let them just put them there, such that those can become avenues for us to lobby.
Owinye Jimmy Obora, a youth leader in Abim and a victim of a recent shooting by cattle rustlers.
It's going to be a hard thing to solve it, but something can be done. Because, you know, let them disarm the Karamojja afresh. Let the agencies get serious on the roads. They'll put their patrol teams on the roads. Let them look at the problems that are affecting these people, why they are roaming like that. Let the government look into it seriously.
I cannot tell you why the will is lacking, because we have had governments come and go, okay? Now, we have also had leaders come and go. We are just here now as new faces. Now, we are trying to define and understand why is Karamojja what it is now since 1962 independence. Somewhere we realized our push is very weak. We do not prioritize our demands.
The will is, government says Karamojja has been left behind for many years. That one is there, it's the will. But the commitment is the one lacking, that if we are going to do this for Karamojja, why don't we do it? So that's why when activities are generated and say, okay, we want this facility like water. We have talked for the last, I don't know how many years. But today, if you went to Karamojja, we still talk about water. So that's the commitment which like government cannot get money to invest on those projects.
What are the key emerging issues inhibiting youth participation in governance and development processes in the Karamojja sub-region? Following the disarmament process, youth in Karamojja have been rendered idle without any significant skills for alternative livelihood, resulting into the highest prevalence of youth unemployment. The political leadership is greatly delinked from the local people, majority of whom are youth, thereby constraining the bottom-up flow of information on key issues of concern. The socio-cultural power hierarchy relegates the youth to the fringes of society, creating power distances and denying the youth guidance and mentorship to become responsible citizens. Young people's participation in civic and governance processes is greatly hampered by corruption, political patronage, and monetization of the electoral process. Young people are not given opportunities to participate in the design and planning of livelihood programs, resulting into program entry requirements way above the standard of the youth. What are the key interventions to spur youth participation in governance and development processes in the Karamojja sub-region? Mobilize the youth into organized groups, empower them with the right organizational development skills and knowledge, and support them to engage in alternative livelihood activities. Provide interventions that help mitigate the effects of the environment, such as dam construction, reliable climatic information, and crop animal varieties that withstand the harsh environment. Ensure deliberate interventions that build and support local entrepreneurs who understand the environment in which they work. Capacitate the youth to engage in the design and planning of livelihood programs. Development partners should work with local governments to establish district-based database and information management system on youth development concerns in particular, and Karamojja development concerns in general. Development partners should work with local governments to establish relevant and simplified systems for monitoring performance of youth interventions.